You know that practice putting rug that you unroll and set up in the corner of your basement or maybe your office? It's all bumpy and the edges are curled up, and it's really not a very good indicator of how well you're putting. What if I told you that the contents of this box could forever change the way that you practice putting? This is called the AirBreak by Putt Out. How about we crack this open and see if it's the solution you've been looking for? Hi friends, Bill here, and I'm kind of excited today because it's not every day you have a big box like this sitting in front of you, and we get a chance together to explore the AirBreak by Putt Out, the adjustable at-home putting mat. But it's much more than a putting mat, because you've seen putting mats. They're fairly miserable for the most part, where they're rolled up carpet, they're sitting over in the corner of your office or in your basement. And as you unroll them, of course, the corners all stay rolled up and the thing's all bumpy and you just can't get it tight enough to give you a smooth roll. And it's just all those nightmares. It's not fun, right? It's not good practice. So along comes this Putt Out AirBreak that I first saw while scrolling through social media. And I thought, we've got to see this thing up close and personal, because at least in the posts that I saw, it looked really cool and it looked really pretty simple to set up. So let's see what this AirBreak is all about as we unbox it together for the very first time. And if you're wondering if this is the very first time, you'll notice I'm cutting packaging away. So here's what we're getting inside the AirBreak. Of course, it comes with the user guide, and of course, like most stubborn males, I'll save this for an emergency and see if we can make it all make sense on our own. And then right here, we have the platform, all folded up, hinged. Let's take some pieces out one at a time. Okay, come down here. We're going to grab a couple of things here. We'll make sense out of all of it as we get a little further into this whole project. Kind of looks like big Lego pieces. We'll come down to this side. Now we're going to pull out the main portion of the platform. Over on this side, we've got a few more elements, and this is the actual mat for the AirBreak. So we'll bring this over here. Let's start with some of the basics as I understand them. And we do want to make sure that we pay attention to the instructions and the final product and how it will look. So we already know that this big platform over here is the one that you will stand on. We'll talk about why that's important here in a couple of moments. So first things first, let's get our first look at what the bare bones of the AirBreak look like. So in essence, this is what we're looking at for the primary platform of the AirBreak. The hole down here, of course, you're going to stand somewhere along this route, and we have a foundation for where we're going with all of this, right? As I grab the user guide, here's one of the things that I am most excited about when I see the table of contents that shows us everything that's in all the boxes. There's only 6 items. If you've ever had some assembly required with a project that you're doing, you know how nice it is to just see that there are 6 items. That's pretty fun. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to place the folded base into an appropriate space. I've managed to do that on my own. Here it is, the appropriate space. Number 2, fold down the 2 outer panels. We have done this as well. Number 3, carefully slide the central panels down to a flat position. We have done that as well. How about that? We're 2 pages in and we've done it. Now we're going to unpack these pumps. So all along the edges, there are literal foot pumps for the AirBreak. You're going to pull them out of their holding bay, feed them through the channel that's provided there so that it will all lay flat. Okay, mission accomplished in that regard. Next step, raise the ball stop barrier. Okay, what is the ball stop barrier? Coming here along the back edge, it's probably hard to see it on camera. There is recessed down in here a foam ridge that just pulls right up. And that's the thing that's going to keep your ball from going off the end. Now the fun part. It's time to roll out the mat across this surface. By the way, the mat comes in a very nice carrying case because this whole thing, especially once you get into the rhythm of it, this whole thing is a really quick setup and tear down. If you need to put it in a room and then move it to another room, you have that option. And then there's a protective case for your putting mat. I'll run that down there. We'll run this down here to the hole. There are pegs on all four corners that you attach these grommets to. We will pull it tight, and by the way, I believe the pegs, yes they are adjustable. So that if it's not tight enough, you can slide the pegs, or if they're spread out too far, you can move them down the other way. There's also an encouragement to leave a little bit of slack, a little bit of play in the rug, so that when you step on these pumps to adjust the brakes that you're going to practice with, that the carpet has a little bit of room, a little bit of give in it. So we'll try that here in a moment. Now listen, friends, whenever I see the words "some assembly required," there are chills and fear that run throughout my body. I cannot stand those three words. Assembling things is not my jam in the least. Look how easy this was. And we did it together in raw, real time. This was not something that I opened up and then went through and set up so that I could look good while I did it with you guys. This is it. A couple of little notes for me to clean up for you. At the beginning, you saw this platform. Well, the reason for that platform is to raise you to the same level as the Putt Out. You don't want to be standing on the ground with this 2.5 inches above your feet. That's not how you're ever going to be putting in real life. And the Lego pieces that I mentioned earlier that come with it, they are really just to go under the platform so that if you need a little adjustment to the height, there's a thinner one and then there's a thicker one. So right now we have the flat version of the Putt Out. Pretty simple. Let's see if we can put one in. And then I'm going to show you how these pumps around the edges change the putt. So we've got everything set up flat. This should be an easy and makeable putt. If I don't pull it, which I did. Let's try that again. Goes in, comes back out. It's kind of fun, right? So you've got the ball return kicking it back to you. So there's the flat putt. Now, what if I wanted to practice, the kind of putt that messes with my head that I'm not very good at? All you're going to do, these are kind of like blood pressure cuffs. And I don't know if you can hear the pumping, but right now, the left side of this green right here is raising up considerably. Let me do this one as well. And now let's see how that changes the nature of this putt. That's up a good inch or so. Let's see how far left to right now we have to play this break. Look at that dive all the way to the other side. So now you're able to practice those side hill difficult putts that you've struggled with for so long. Look at that thing go. Okay, now, so you set through the pumps, you set the green to be whatever break you want it to be. When you're done, if you want it back to flat, there's a pressure release valve right here. And just like your blood pressure, the green automatically returns back to flat. Let's try one more. Let's come back here to the very front edge. I'm going to pump this up and see if it gives me kind of a downhill putt. Makes it even faster. And I can see this whole thing lifting up off the ground. Okay, so now we're going downhill. Let's see if that speeds things up. It should otherwise be fairly flat, but we're coming off of a slope now. And that just screams down to the other end. Thankfully, we have that ridge in the back to keep the ball from going off. Look at, I can't even get it to sit still, so I've pumped it up a little bit too much, but that's kind of for the purposes of showing you the effect. If you wonder how steep that is, Welcome to a Donald Ross green that's been mowed really tight. So that's the difference that these pumps around the edges can make. And that, my friends, is the Putt Out. I think you can see the potential it has for forever replacing that rolled up rug that you have in the corner of your office. This one is fast, it's very smooth, the ball comes right back to you. The entire thing is portable, super durable. I kind of like it. If you'd like more information on the Putt Out, check out the description. Thank you for watching, thanks for subscribing. Now, if you don't mind, I need to practice some of my putting for a bit. I found the straight ones are the easiest.